And then I guess finally, we're talking about heated tobacco products and vapes.
Yeah, these are now the less harmful alternatives for cigarettes. These are very popular alternative to smoking, which I think uh, needed to be also leered about because of them so many negative narrative that we've been hearing from about them. Now, vape products. First, let's talk about vape products. Then probably later on, we can talk about the heated tobacco products. Vape products, I would like to call them vape products. It's called e-cigarettes, but I don't want to call it anymore e-cigarette because of the stigma of the cigarette name term.
And
In
it's not a cigarette. It's not
not
burning
cigarette,
something.
in no way anything like a cigarette,
It
except
is vapor.
yeah, except for its yeah, that's right, pure and clean nicotine content. That's all that they have. They're the same. It's these are the vapes are the same as the hookahs, the vape pens, the tank systems or mods. Okay, they come in different shapes and sizes. Same look like some of them look like a cigarette. Some look very different. They are battery operated devices that work by heating liquid into vapor and that the user inhales and exhales. Okay, the e-liquid in the vape device contains uh, nicotine, propylene glycol, vegetable glycerol, flavorings, and benzoic acid. All of these have been tested, proven as food grade. So, okay, so actually it contains 95% propylene glycol and 95% propylene glycol and vegetable glycerol, maybe about 1.5 to 5% nicotine, and also some have benzoic acid, and the rest are flavorings. That's about 0.5 to 10%. So that's about the composition of the e-liquid. A
And
lot of
these are things that you find in food. These are things
yeah,
that you find in like asthma inhalers.
asthma,
They
ice creams,
in
yeah,
ice
like
cream, and so on and so forth. Yeah.
so there. Uh, uh, Based on the readings and the researches I studied and the International Harm Reduction conference that I attended in London, you know, there is a preponderance of scientific evidence that vaping is 95 to 99% less harmful than smoking. These very findings of the Public Health England, collaborated by the Royal College of Physicians, after they have peer-reviewed close to about 500 scientific studies and researches, uh, came up with this conclusion that it's 95 to 99% safe, safer than cigarette, and it remained undisputed today. Okay, uh, that's why vape plays a very promising role in hastening the death of this deadly tobacco cigarette. You know why this is so? Iba? It it kind of mimics smoking, so it
Yep.
attracts smokers more than all the other modalities of treatment. As you said, when you use a patch or a gum, or you are not you're not replicating the way you use the cigarette. Okay, and the hit, and they get the hit almost the same way, uh, like the cigarette, because it has the nicotine content in it, less the toxicants, the 7,000 chemicals you found in the smoke of the cigarette. Okay,
Seven and majority of those 7,000 chemicals
70,
you don't
70
find in food, right? This is just like unique to cigarettes.
So, it replicates really the behavior of the individual smoker. So, the hand to mouth rituals and everything, the throat heat, okay? the smoke, the blow, and everything, it appeals. Also in a way that it has different flavors, and that's another sad story because uh, many are trying to remove flavors from
Yep, yep,
the
yep.
liquid.
Ako,
And
obviously I've been vaping while we're talking, no?
mm,
Um, to be honest, I can feel the impact on my health. Um, During the lockdown, I live on the 15th floor of a condo, and I use the stairs to go down to the lobby because I'm scared of the elevator. Right? If I'm gonna, I would not have been able to do that while I was smoking. 15 flights of stairs. That would have I would have had a heart attack in the middle, and then my wife would have to look for me. But now 15 flights takes me 4 minutes,
see, that's right.
and I'm huge.
Very good. Very difficult to do that. Yeah. It takes a lot of effort
Yeah, and
to
out
do.
of 20 friends, smokers hang out with smokers, right? Out of 20 close friends that are smokers, I'd say about 15 of them were able to quit completely using vape.
Hindi. Yeah, we should be very careful with the news that we read because sometimes they're cherry picked. The data that they're presenting in the news are cherry picked, and they don't really explain entirely the reason for. But can you do you remember what happened in the U.S. the Ivali
Oh
incidents in the
yeah,
U.S.?
yeah, yeah. Yung ano, ang daming nakasakit pero in specific states lang, 'di ba?
Yeah, in specific state,
Which is weird
specific
because it's been around for
and
10 years and
more than 10
nobody I know
yeah.
has ever gotten sick
It only
because
happened
of
in those
vapes.
places. Okay, so now it has been found out. Although I know that from the very start they know about it, it's really the illicit e-juice that they take in, which is contaminated or with THC, the cannabis,
Hmm.
uh, and vitamin E
E.
acid. Yes,
Mhm.
that tries to thickens it. That's very that's very obvious because you know uh, it's only in those places and those age range that are being affected. So what's very sad is they withheld this information for a long time and has created so much panic among e-cigarette or vape users, and and all the other people are now ascribing it as the culprit of what happened in the US, which is actually not. It's not a problem with the e-cigarette or the the device. It's what was in the illicit and the black market that's been placed there.
Yep. So it the lack of regulation, and plus illicit substances. So I mean, the biggest challenge because a lot of these vape manufacturers, and when I started years ago, they're mom and pops, right? So there is really a need to regulate. I think that's one of the scary parts. Though there has been no confirmed case really proven of a vape related,
None.
uh, juice related death
Yes.
in the Philippines. Um,
Although
but there is a need for regulation.
regulation. And then, of course, we agree to the fact that this product should only be known or taken in by smokers, none other but smokers whom we are trying to switch to a less harmful alternative. This is never for the youth. It's never for the non-smokers.
Now, Doc, what's the other side is you also have heated tobacco products,
Yeah, heated
and
tobacco
like
products.
something like this, like an ICOS.
Yes, or heat not burn the
Hmm.
products. That's what they call it. Okay, these are also less harmful alternatives. Okay, now, okay, why is the cigarette harmful? Because of the burning that happens, the combustion that happens when you burn something. It brings out so many chemicals. That's why the byproducts of combustion oxidation is the release of these 7,000 plus chemicals, 70 plus of them are carcinogenic, cancer causing chemicals. Okay, so when you burn, actually, anything that's burned, when you eat meat that's burned, it's gonna be carcinogenic on your colon. Okay, if you cook something with wood and you inhale the smoke, it's gonna make you gonna cause you a problem with your lungs. Okay, so because of the chemicals that's produced by the smoke. In this case, in heated tobacco products. Okay, one more thing. When you burn something, when you burn the cigarette, you're using 600 degrees centigrade heat to burn it. What the company that produced this product, okay, the heated tobacco product is they peg the heat at 350 degrees centigrade. It's almost half of the burning, the heat that needs to burn cigarette. So the purpose there is just enough to release a nicotine-containing tobacco vapor without burning. Okay, so actually the tobacco there is moistened a little bit. So by electronically controlled heating blade, that's how they do it. Okay? That's how it's done. So it's really going to make it less harmful when the smoke is done. You remember the famous saying of a famous scientist in the who said Mike Russell, who said that people people smoke for the nicotine but die from the tar.
Mm-hmm.
It's true. Okay. No, right. Nicotine is addictive. Okay? Nicotine is relatively benign by itself because it has been studied for decades, and there's no disease actually or anything that except for the increases in blood pressure and pulse rate, and there's nothing in record that has been caused directly impacted by nicotine. What is really bad in the smoke are the chemicals that are being produced during the combustion. And by using heated tobacco product or vape products, you're doing away with that. You're just releasing a vapor. In chemical chains, if you in the changes in matter, there are two changes that happens: the physical and the chemical. When you change a liquid into vapor, that's a physical change still. When you change a liquid, when you change something and burn it, that's chemical change. It's totally out, wala na siya doon sa dating composition niya. It's totally burned. The vapor just changes the same liquid in another form. So there's a difference between physical change and chemical change. Chemical change, that's why lumalabas lahat yung undesirable chemicals. Okay?
So, for honestly, that is where I had the most success quitting, which is with. I tried everything else, and when it came to vape and IQOS, that's where I was more successful. And now the costs are, because of the taxes and whatnot, are almost equivalent to the cost of smoking.
Yeah. Well, that's the problem with our regulation. They should not equate in any way the the hazards of smoking to that of the less harmful alternative. We're saying here that it's not totally safe. No, we're not saying it's. That's why there's a 5% chance of harm from the 95%. But you can just imagine if you try to shift from a 100 harm to just 5% harm.
Hmm.
That's considerable. All the effects that we're experiencing now. the smoking being the number one or the leading preventable cause of death and diseases worldwide, this could be handled very very well at once if we could only just move them away, switch all smokers to this less harmful alternative. I I uh, I have to accept that. Well, I do adhere that it should be more of the conventional pharmacologic or therapeutic because they have been properly studied and everything, and all the safeguards have been put in place there, and that's the reason that they claim that uh, uh, vape products or its TP have not been properly studied and evaluated. That's the reason. But actually, studies have been made already, short-term studies, and it has proven that these are taking you away from all the harm that's being done by the uh, tobacco cigarette. So again, if we could only move them away from tobacco, 10%. Kasi kung 4% lang every year ang we'll never come close to eliminating cigarette. So if we are going to have 10% of these smokers moving away from smoking, switching to less harmful alternative, in 10 years time, you will be seeing the demise, obsolescence of this most of this deadliest product in the market.
And
It,
you would save millions and millions of lives.
millions of lives because imagine 8 million every year worldwide are dying because of smoking related diseases. That is, they've even projected that in this century alone, if the trend continues, there will be over a billion deaths this century. My God, if that is the reality that we're facing right now, I don't think uh, we should dilly dally and just wait for the 4% to succeed. Where will we go from there? I
And
don't know.
that's what we're trying to do. We're
That's
trying to help people quit smoking. That's at its core, right? And we're
yes,
not judging. We
by
are giving the facts. And
yes,
these are the top five proven ways: cold turkey, NRTs, drug therapy, NRTs with behavioral therapy and drug therapy, as well as heated tobacco products and vapes. It doesn't like me. I tried many of them until I found that I don't want to smoke anymore. And
yeah,
kanya-kanyang journey yon. We just want people to take the first step.
yeah. There have been a lot of studies already that prove that this is really a good quitting uh, tool to get away from smoking cigarette. So, well, uh, a lot in the traditional scientific community are still averse to that idea. When in fact, a lot of studies. Uh, Iba, there have been 70 prestigious and well-known scientists who made a petition to the WHO to try to recognize the importance of vape or e-cigarettes as a tool for smoking cessation and the great benefit that it will do to society in general.
All right. Thank you again, Doc. To all of our viewers, um, it doesn't matter what you do from these top five, but as long as you take that first step. And we at Quit for Good are here to help you quit to win and quit for good. Please follow us and like our page if you have a loved one, or share a loved one, or you are trying to quit smoking. You can join our group, Quit for Good. You can join our Facebook page, Quit for Good, and check us out on YouTube where we'll be putting bite sized versions of these videos. so that for your reference, if you want to go back and pick and understand different ways, and reach out to us via chat at our Quit for Good page, and we are always ready to help you guys out and give you advice. If you have anything you want us to cover in our next live streams, please
Is the
message us.
right.
And Doc is always there, and I'm always there, ready to listen and help. Thank you. Have a great weekend, Doc. Any last words? Any final advice?
Okay. So there are so many therapies as well as practical options out there. That's why it is our responsibility to present them all to you for the picking. What is important is what will be effective to you, what will be most convenient and comfortable for you. Okay, quitting journey could either be smooth or rough, but the important thing is you must be determined to do so, to quit. Think of the myriad reasons, the benefits that it will give you and your loved ones. It doesn't matter how many times you try to quit. You know, Mark Twain once said, it's so easy to quit. I've done it 1,000 times. You'll get there.
Yep,
Believe it.
yep, yep.
You will get there.
All right. Thank you, Doc. Have a great weekend, everyone. And remember, quit for good.
Yeah.